Alright, so this week there's not going to be a lot of hardcore how-to, but there will be some interesting information after the break. I'm going to be talking about stoppages and things that keep you from completing a job. Some guy in the next yard, a weed eater. Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxie, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today. I'm going to start working on the Galaxie's floor pan this week. I honestly am not crazy about the idea. And I had one last set of car skates that I wanted to throw onto that thing because the tires go flat at the drop of a hat. But what I found is one of the reasons I had one car skate that wasn't working correctly is what I'm showing you right now. There's a wire wound around the spindle and the actual wheel itself. That's never good for motion, let me tell you. So, in the case of you can't do something until you do something else, that's what I'm doing today. By the way, when was the last time you greased your car skates wheels and bearings for spinning? Because right now, I got one chunky one and the rest of them are kind of meh. Think about that whenever you're working on your car, because if you have these car skates and you're moving cars around like we are, these are a lifesaver. Especially if I got to jockey cars in all kind of different places. So, there you go. Now, because when I took the 4-speed shifter out of it, I accidentally put it in gear, I now have to get underneath the vehicle and take it out of gear. So I can roll it to get it out of the way so I can bring it to Camaro anyway. There's a lot of things that have to go into something like this. If you're like me and you got 3 or 4 projects rolling, you're going to have a problem with this. This is going to be a daily occurrence. But what I find weird is that once I really start working on something like this, all my misgivings about the car seem to go away. I tend to lose the misgivings and I tend to want to keep going with it. And so that's kind of what's going on right now. I'm doing all these stupid little tricks to it and making things go. I moved the truck out of the way. Now I got to back this thing up, but I have to take it apart. But anyway, all those little things went to make me to where I'm like, you know what? I want to put that passenger side floor pan in. I want to put some quarters on this thing. I want to do this. I want to do that. Somebody's out there sporting around having a ball. I'm here working on a broke-ass Galaxie. Says he's going to push it himself. He at least lifted it. The old man has to help. stoppages. First thing I'm going to talk of, and the two things I'm going to talk about real quickly today are car covers. Now, what I'm showing you is a picture of our 72 Mach 1, and I'm also showing you a picture of our 70 Camaro, and guess what? These two cars have been in total stoppage for a while, ever since I put the car cover on them. I'm not saying car covers are a bad thing. What I'm saying is that a car cover can cause you to forget that you own that car. If the car is sitting out where I can see it, it tends to make me want to go work on it. But if you put a car cover on some of these things, I'm going to tell you right now, it is probably the worst thing you can do for your own psyche, because it covers it up, you don't see the problems, so you don't start working on it. And that is a big deal. That is a big stoppage problem. So if you have a car under a car cover, every week or so, go out and pull the car cover off and just look at it. Gaze upon its beauty, or whatever it is. If it's like the Ranchero behind me, it's cataclysmically ugly right now, but you should go out and take a look at it. Pull the cover off, examine the car, and it'll start making you think about things that you really need to do to make that car a better car. Maybe even start going through your list of things that you need to do. Check it out that way. Number two, and I said this is going to be pretty quick, and it really will. If you leave a car sit, like the Ranchero sat for a pretty good while, mostly because I couldn't get Logan to come out and do anything on it. And now suddenly, for some bizarre reason, mostly because I think he's starting his own lawn business, he wants to get this thing on the road, and so he's really been a lot better about coming out and working on it. So if you have a car that sits around, our Galaxie sat in the same spot for more months than I care to admit. Our wagon sits still for a long time before I can do anything to it, because we have so many projects around. But if you don't have a ton of projects like we do, you should move it, or go out and just open and close the doors. Do something on that car once a week, every week without fail. Because if you don't, it becomes a garage ornament. I think they say if something sits in the same place for 3 weeks without you touching it, it officially becomes part of the furniture. So, if you don't want your car to become part of the furniture, what you need to do is you need to do something with it. In our case, it was moving the Galaxie. We had to move the Galaxie because where it was sitting at, we just couldn't work on it. We couldn't do anything like pull the seat out, which we need to do in order to go in and facilitate putting the floor pan in on the passenger side. So that causes me to have to move the car. So all that you saw was part of the preparation for getting the thing to where we could put the floor pan in it, unfortunately, outside. Now, where it's at, I might be able to roll it in here, change out the Ranchero for the Galaxie, and hopefully it won't strike the front wall and the garage door when we put it in here, because the thing is so bloody big. When we put the Camaro where the Galaxie's was at, big car, real big car. All right, so your bonus round is dread. When you dread doing something like I dread doing the floor pan on that car, it will slow you down or stop you completely. I don't even know how to tell you to get around dread, but I will say that having moved that Galaxie from where it was at to where it is now has removed a lot of my dread. Now I'm in a position to be able to actually work on it, whereas before I would just walk by it and go, I can't do it because of this, and this. All 5 of those thises are gone now, and so we are now in a position where we are able to work on the car. So dread can be a real issue in the process of fixing up your car. But I will tell you, if you can do something, like I said, even go out and just open the door, sit inside the car, it can start that creativity flowing again, and maybe you can get out there and start working on it and cutting metal or whatever you need to do that you're dreading. And on the dread stuff, I'll tell you to just dive in, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've been thinking about how I want to do it for a pretty good little while, but now I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to start working on it. And that's one of the things that's coming up in the future. If you guys want to see a video on us redoing that floor with an existing floor pan as our replacement piece, put a comment in the section below. We would love to hear from you on that front. Speaking of hearing from you, check out our Patreon account. At the $10 a month level, you get monthly meetings with me, but what you're really getting out of that, if you think about it, if we've ever saved you any amount of money on working on your car, it's a good way to show appreciation on that front. Thumbs ups are great. We like those. I think YouTube kind of counts them as a half of a third of a third of a third, and yes, you're doing well on our channel type stuff. But from our point of view, it would help us the most if you could just go in and say, hey man, I'm going to put $1 toward what you do every month, because You've helped me out. What you're really doing with that money has nothing to do with me. It's actually helping to pay Andrew, and you're also helping to pay the kids who come in here on Saturdays and do the work that they do to help us produce the videos we do. That's a lot of dues. But that's really going to be important. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're at like 95,000 subscribers at this point. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers, I can almost taste it. I want that plaque, which is probably, like I've said before, a JPEG that they send to you, and they say if you're willing to pay the $5,000, we'll send you the plaque. I really don't think that's what they're doing. It's just that dark part of me that comes up with these kind of ideas. So subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notification so that you get notified of everything we do. Try to watch the videos all the way through if you can, because if you do, that helps our numbers and pulls us up, and we get more views and thus by more subscribers. So any little bit you can do helps. Finally, folks, do me a favor, be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on down the road. So now, I don't have an excuse. I will be going out and cutting the floor pan out of the other Galaxie. If you guys want to see the whole shooting match where we go from soup to nuts, where we do cut out of the floor pan in the Galaxie, and then we'll show you putting the floor pan in the Galaxie, please leave a comment in the section below. We'd love to hear from you on that front. The bad thing is this is my car, so I don't have a way to really throw anybody else in the mix. It's gonna be me. I'll come to think of it, most of the me on this one too. I'm not doing this right. I should be having people. I need people.